A senior al-Qaeda operative has been killed in Mali. France 24 was able to confirm the death of Moussa, a death later confirmed by the French Foreign Office. He was travelling in a pickup truck near Menaka in the northeast of the country when soldiers swooped. A one-time army deserter who became a key fighter in the terror group Moussa was linked to several atrocities across the region. We'll hear for more on this story is Wassim Nasr, France 24's terrorism expert. Wassim, thanks for being with us. Tell us more about how this happened.
Well, actually, it happened on the 10th, around 6 p.m. He was intercepted by helicopters, French helicopters, and then by special operations forces on the ground. So it wasn't a raid. They tried to stop his car, then he didn't stop, so they went on the ground, and there was a shootout. And this is how he was neutralized or killed. So I got to have the first information about this, some pictures and the footage that we just saw on the 11th. It was a much longer footage. We kept only 12 seconds in order not to see the burned bodies. We know that there were 5 in this car. There was him, another al-Qaeda operative, and some locals. Okay, some say that even his son was in the car. So this is still to be confirmed. As you said, it got confirmed this morning by French authorities, by defense ministry. Here we see him, and we are showing his picture because he is a very well-known figure in the region. He's not just nobody. Okay, he joined jihad after 2012, but before that, he's a very known Tuareg figure. He participated in the guerrilla in northern Mali. He has classical curses, if I may say so, because he was active in the rebellion in northern Mali. Then he was among the Tuareg who joined Libya, who were in the ranks of the Libyan army under Muammar al-Gaddafi, and who joined back northern Mali in 2012. And in between, he was 2 times in the Malian army. In 2006, after the Algiers agreements, he was even given the grade of colonel in the Malian army. That's before he defected at the end of his career, if you may say it this way, to Iyad Ghali. He was very close from Iyad Ghali, the head of Jama'at Nasr Islam Muslimin, which is the al-Qaeda operative in northern Mali. He joined him in 2012, and he kept with him till his last days. But something very important, he was really a military commander, a military operative up to the end of 2018. And from the end of 2018, as far as I know, up to the day of his death, he was more of an instructor, a dogmatic instructor, a military instructor for middle-ranking commanders in the ranks of al-Qaeda.
Nonetheless, someone, Wassim, we're getting the picture here, someone of great importance. So this is a real scalp for the Operation Barkhane troops to take. I'm wondering what the implications are of this going forward, of taking this.
Well, actually, he transmitted already a lot to other commanders who were involved in other attacks. He was on one of the people who worked on Aghita. Aghita is another commander, very close also to Iyad Ghali. So the operational impact of his death won't be much important. But the moral impact of his death is very important because he's a jihadi figure, yes, but he's a Tuareg figure too. He was very well known, very well respected and feared in northern Mali. So beyond the operational fact of killing him, he was already a high-value target, okay, because of his operational skills, but also what made him more important because he was in transmission of his skills to middle-ranking commanders. And this is why he was killed.
In terms of what it means, Wassim, someone is taken out, someone is replaced. There seems to be a kind of production line of people who will sort of move into these roles.
Well, of course, because the fight in northern Mali is very old. You see, al-Qaeda is entrenched in northern Mali in local dynamics since decades. And even the Tuareg rebellion before al-Qaeda is also very old. So we're seeing this dynamic in the Sahel region and other regions where very old theaters of confrontation on war theaters are turning into a jihadi confrontation. We saw it in Somalia, we saw it in Yemen, we're seeing it in the Sahel, we saw it in Lake Chad, and lately with the Islamic State, even in Mozambique and Congo. So you see, it's a dynamic which is ongoing where Africa today is becoming the epicenter of jihad in a way.
Indeed. And in terms of negotiation, Wassim, because obviously the official line is that there's no negotiation with terror groups, but as you tell us, there is back channel negotiations behind the scenes that happen. Will this break all that down?
I don't think so, because as you know, and we covered it here with the liberation of Soumaïla Cissé, the prominent Malian politician, and Sophie Petronin, the last French hostage, we know that in between, in the months of June, Drukdel was killed. Abu Mus'ab Drukdel, who was the head of Akim, so the head of Jamaat al-Muslimin and the head of this guy who was killed today, he was killed, and while the negotiations were ongoing, it didn't prevent the outcome of the negotiations, okay? Because everybody knows that it's a war zone. And we have even the footage of liberated jihadis. They were celebrating. We saw them celebrating. We got the footage here at France 24 of them celebrating their liberation, because they profited from a 3 days gap in between. And when here we see the footage. So among the 200 detainees that were freed by Bamako, among them were very prominent jihadis. Okay, in exchange of Soumaïla Cissé, especially Sophie Petronin and the 2 Italian hostages, among them a priest. Okay, so it's a war zone and negotiations are ongoing. What was made under the table by Malian authorities when it was the Hollande administration, François Hollande administration here, now is being done on the table, okay? Because after the meeting of Pau, which Emmanuel Macron called for it, there was an aim on the Islamic State, okay? They said, okay, you're going to hit Islamic State on the 3 region borders. And Ibeka, the former Malian president, said, just after this meeting on France 24 and RFI, that they are willing to negotiate with Iyad Ghali and Mohamed Koufa, who are the representatives of al-Qaeda in northern Mali. So you have a group who wants to negotiate, and a group that doesn't want to negotiate, which is...
But this killing won't put that into jeopardy. It won't...
No, because as I told you, Drukdel was killed and didn't put anything in jeopardy. We can hear even Iyad Ghali saying, just after the liberation of his man, that the war is still ongoing. So we can listen to him.
Wassim, we need to leave it there, sir.
وهذه الحرب حرب مستمرة، يعني لا ما فيها وقت يعني فراغ يعني مثلا.
So even Iyad Ghali, the day after the liberation of his man, told them the war is ongoing, you have to join your fighting position. And Barkhane knows that the fighting is still ongoing, and the Malian army does too. So war is ongoing, and even when you have war, you have negotiations. Look at the Taliban. They're sending kamikazes against American forces and negotiating on the table in Doha.
Wassim Nasr, thank you very much indeed for explaining the situation for us.